Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T-Guy.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of Event Radio. We are at our home away from home, one of the most fun places that T and I get to go to. We are at the Museum of Science and History, Owensboro, Kentucky. But we're here not to learn much about science and really not learn just a little about history, but a different kind of history. We're here to learn about motorsports history.
The important kind of
history. Important kind, the kind that sort of trips our trigger. Anyway, we're here, and we're going to do the inductions of this year's class of the 2016 Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame. There you go. Yeah. Well, we could be. You think we could be the Everly Brothers and sing? Or
well,
what?
we might too. We're brothers but different mothers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, we might be able to sing. We're having a lot of fun, guys. This is a fun event. This is one that you need to put on your calendar, and you need to come to this because you can not only go through here and see all the cool displays, everything from the cool scooters that you go down the hill on this was originated in Owensboro, but there are a lot of people that are going to be here, a lot of the superstars that we will get to talk to, and people that you have read about, you have heard about, that you have seen on TV. Our good buddy, Mr. Army Armstrong, just went by and sort of sent us a gesture that maybe he shouldn't have done, but that's okay. He's our friend, and he does that kind of stuff. But we're going to talk to several of them. We're going to take a real quick break. We're going to say hi to our sponsors and let them know that we appreciate them as much as they say they appreciate us. We're not sure they really do, but they might. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with our first guest, the mouth of the racetracks, our buddy, the guy that is the number one racetrack announcer in our mind in the United States.
The Wolfman Jack.
The Wolfman Jack of radio, the Wolfman Jack of racetrack announcing. Let's put it that way. Mr. Billy Igler will be our first guest. Guys, you are on Event Radio. We are at the Motorsports, what do they call this? The Speedseum. At the Museum of Science and History, Bowling Green. Boy, I'm lost. I'm lost today. Gosh, what a deal. We're in Owensboro, Kentucky, guys, and this place is a fun place. This is where you need to come and check it out. Give us a couple of minutes to say hi to Holly and Quick Fuel and some of the real nice people, and we'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back from the Museum of Science and History, Owensboro, Kentucky, at the Speedseum, the 2016 class of the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame. And we gave you a little hint as to who our first guest was, and he's our buddy. And I don't care what racetrack you've been to, if you're fortunate enough that this gentleman is on the mic, even if it's a boring race, you're going to have the best time you've ever been to because this guy makes it colorful. I don't know how he sees so much of what's going on there, but he sees everything that's going on at the racetrack, and he tells you all about it. Our good friend, Mr. Billy Igler, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, Spivvy. How you doing?
Well, for an old fat guy, I'm doing okay.
Oh, and T, too. I forgot he's
that's okay, Billy.
Yeah, well, T's just...
he's a little small. So
but he gets nervous. See, we have such fun. One of his favorite racetracks is Morgantown, the Morgantown racetrack of Richards, because they have fried bologna sandwiches. Terry is tore up over fried bologna. I don't know what the deal is.
Man, he needs to try my barbecue bologna then. So I mean,
Barbecue bologna? Do you do that?
Had some, not had yours, but I'll take you up on that.
Oh, okay.
Big
So
time.
what's the world of Billy Ugler doing? Guys, you're doing all kinds of stuff. You're doing promoting races, and you're going to do some stuff for Windy Holla, and you're going to do all kinds of things.
I retired from announcing last year after the end of last year.
We don't like that.
Well, it was a matter of being burned out. After 21 years of announcing, it was time for a break. So we took a break for the year, and I've got the opportunity to do some promotional work and PR work for Windy Hollow, and I'll fill in on the microphone every once in a while and jump in there and kind of help out a little bit and hopefully make things rock and roll at Windy Hollow.
Well, I tell you what, you will entertain them, but if they ever get you up there, I'm telling you, I know Jimmy Westerfield well. He is a good friend. And if he ever gets you in that announcer's booth, he's going to weld the door shut.
Yeah, he's got a plan.
Yeah, he's got a plan. Hey, he don't make very many mistakes. And if he can get you in that announcer's booth and weld that steel door shut, my friend, you'll get as skinny as me.
Yeah, I guarantee
No,
you.
you won't really.
I'll slip you some of that barbecue bologna.
Yeah, well, we'll have to slip you some in there. But you will put on a great show, my friend, and you need to reconsider this. There are some people that need to retire, and there are some that don't. And, my friend, you don't need to.
Man,
I got to agree with him, Billy.
I'm getting old, though.
No, you're not old.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
These
I
things
got
are not,
underwear older than you are, Billy.
Yeah, I do too. These microphones are not that heavy to hold, buddy. I mean, when you got the talent, you carry it with you.
It, like I said, it was a matter of being burned out for 21 years, going 2 and 3 and 4 nights a week, every weekend. It was tough.
Well, I know.
21 years. Let's see, there was 22 different tracks that I've announced at, and Lord, I'd hate to even count up how many races and events that I'd announced, but
Well, if it was easy, anybody could do it.
that's right.
Kind of let your passion go into a job, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
You
A whole lot.
I understand
A
that.
whole
All right, let me
lot.
ask you. I'm going to pin you down.
Don't do
Favorite racetrack, favorite announcing job at favorite racetrack. Which one?
that. Smoky Mountain Speedway, Maryville, Tennessee, for the American Modified Series event down there 4 years ago, I guess it was.
All right, I can go along with
Didn't
that.
take him long to say that.
No,
Must
because
have
if
been a
you've
good
ever seen that place puts on a heck of a show.
And it's not just a racetrack. It's a big, fast clay half mile, but the backdrop with the mountains in the background, the sunset, right before the races start, it's incredible.
In the mid-'80s, they had an AMA National Motorcycle Race there.
I would be scared to death to watch
Well,
it.
they'd actually
Watch
fall.
it.
They'd fall in the corners and actually slide to the bottom.
I guarantee they would.
They did. I mean, I think that's why they didn't go back.
That's it's a crazy fast place for cars. I'd hate to think motorcycles on that place.
Well, now, see, you're going to be doing radio from here, too, in a little bit. You actually do radio also, just like we try to. You do it good, and we try to. But you're going to be doing it upstairs with the real people upstairs.
yeah, we're moving on up.
You're moving on up. You and the Jeffersons, right? Okay, yeah. But we get down here. Our guys ask us, they said, what's it like doing that? And I said, well, if you've ever seen the CMA Awards, I said, on TV, T and I do the red carpet part like they do in the beginning. And we sort of snare people and talk to them and stuff before the real deal upstairs. And then you and Army and the guys that are real true pros, y'all take over up there. And, boy, you make us look bad.
Relief hitters.
The funny part about that is our show was supposed to be down here with you all. We were supposed to go on from 12 to 2 today.
Really?
And there was a scheduling conflict at the station, so now I've got to go on from 3 to 5, which means that I've got to have a helicopter waiting outside to get to my next appointment at 6. So
Well, hey, when you're a bad boy, they wait on you. What
they're
can you
gonna have
say?
to. There's no two ways around it.
Well, I tell you what, if we can't get a decent McDonald burger, could we ride along on the helicopter and maybe go to wherever you're
Yeah,
going?
because I'm actually going to cook at 6 o'clock, so y'all can come out to Windy Hall and eat.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
You're going to have some of that barbecue bologna.
Yes, there will.
All right.
You're going to have the barbecue
yeah.
bologna.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
T, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Listen,
But,
my friend, we can't keep you forever. We would like to because you are our buddy, and you put on as good a show, my friend, as I've ever been to. And I've been going to racetracks for like 60, we will need to say, 62 or 3 years.
You've seen a lot of races.
I thought you were
I've
going to
seen-
say 62 or 3 races.
No, I've done that many a year. I've done almost that many a year. But you put on you make the races, buddy. It's like the stunt men in the movies. They make the movie. The movie is just a story, and they bring it to life. And that's what you do at the racetrack with your talent, with your ability, and you explaining to the people what's happening. my friend, you are the stunt man of the movies, and you just do it at the racetrack.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, I've had a lot of help. Well, actually, I've got to give Army Armstrong all the credit because he's the one that actually forced me into the announcing gig.
Yeah, I was sort of glad when he quit exotic dancing too.
Yeah, the Chumpendales haven't been the same since from what I hear.
Chumpendales,
but
okay.
It was 22 years ago. You know, he called up. I was actually a crew member on a race car at the time, and he said, you know, Windy Hollow Drag Strip needs an announcer. Francis Libb was running at the time. I want you to try it. And I hem-hawed around and said no, and he finally forced me to have a meeting with Francis, tried it out, didn't know a thing about anything. And
you don't tell Army no.
That's right. You don't.
You don't tell Army Armstrong no.
But he's been like a dad to me my entire life, and got to give him all the praises for it.
Well, he's my buddy. He won't tell anybody that, but he is my friend. And matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick little story. He brought us not many people know he's an artist.
Oh, yeah.
And along with the multi-talents that he has on TV and a microphone and everything that he does. And he was gracious enough to bring us a painting that he did of Nikki Hayden, flat track painting that had hung in the Motorcycle Hall of Fame. And he brought it to a show that I did called Vets and Pets, where all the money was raised for Humane Society and the Salvation Army Food Bank. And let us auction it off. And he signed it. He did everything, and Nikki had signed it. And I just got fired up, and me and a guy in Atlanta got into a bidding war on that thing, and it's hanging in my living room, and I love it.
That's awesome.
And well, we've been friends since we were 16, and I find that very cool to have, knowing his many talents. So you don't say no to Army Armstrong. That's what I'm saying. Whatever it takes,
right.
When you have the opportunity, buddy, you hold your hand up and you get her done. That's the way
right.
to do it. Billy, thank you. I'm looking forward. We may come up and terrorize you when you get on the radio. We'll give you a hard time.
Have at it. Like I said, we'll be on there during the induction ceremony and having a good time.
Well, we may just join you. T-Bone, what do you think?
I appreciate Billy being here. It's always good to see him.
Good to see you, buddy.
Always good to start the day off right. Guys, the one and only Mr. Billy Igler, if you're ever at a racetrack anywhere and he is on the mic, you are getting ready to have the most fun you have ever had. You're on Event Radio. We are at the Museum of Science and History, Owensboro, Kentucky, in the Speedseum for the 2016 Motorsports Hall of Fame inductions. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Right back.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, you are back from the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame inductions, the class of 2016, and we have a gentleman joining us that probably doesn't need introduction to a lot of people, but he did to us because we don't know a lot of people from the Lexington area, but we're learning. Mr. Jackie Lawson, how are you, sir?
Fine today. Good day.
Pretty big honor to be here, isn't it?
It certainly is for me, yes.
So you're a drag racer.
Yes, drag racer, car builder, street rods, the whole deal.
He's got Lawson's Motorsports on his shirts, baby. That's a dead giveaway.
But see, if I'd have went past the third grade, I could read. See, that's where the trouble is. I got to be able to read.
Yeah.
So out of all your hats that you wore, which one was more fun, building the street rods, or drag racing, or what?
Drag racing.
Oh, ain't no doubt about that. What kind of car?
We started back in 65 in that era, and we raced a English Ford Anglia.
Oh, I'm very familiar with those.
You had one.
Yeah.
I had one, but I got spanked by one on a regular basis. A guy named Ed Payne used to wear me out. Little golden Anglia. It was a car out of Louisville, Powell Service Center car, and he spanked me like a stepchild. I mean, when I was a kid. And I drag raced as a kid a lot.
Yeah.
So
we raced the same time Ed did. We were Adams, Lawson, and Eldridge.
Uh-huh.
And we were pretty successful, won quite a few national events, and we stayed in the business for a little while until we got into street riding.
So you remember going to Indy when they checked the car in over at the shopping center? You remember that?
I remember that extremely well.
I went there. in 1966, I think it was, 66 or 67, I went there as the A-Sport record holder. And I was on a cloud, buddy. And you had to go over there to check the car in.
Sure.
Well, they broadcast what was going on at the racetrack on the radio, and you got to listen to it. Well, boy, we're on a cloud. I mean, we're the fastest A-Sport car in the country. And I mean, we're bad boys. I'm 16 years old, full of everything, untouchable. Bulletproof. And I'm sitting there they're checking my old car in, got the radio on, and there's a guy named Bruce Larson that debuted an AC Cobra, and he knocked my record by half a second almost, and I drew him first round, and he spanked me to death. And so my professional debut took a halt right then, but it was okay. It was fun.
In 1966, we ran our class in our car, and we won the class at that national event, and we won a few more along the way, too.
Oh, I bet you did.
Which one stands out the most? Which one do you remember the most enjoyable?
Probably after we started racing a Corvette at Indianapolis, one of those races.
That's understandable.
Boy, it's sort of the cat daddy, isn't it? I mean, they got a national event every week. But when we were doing this stuff, Indy was the race. If you could win Indy, the rest of them didn't matter. I mean, that was the cat daddy. That was the one that everybody wanted to win. And you were fortunate enough to do that, and that's why probably they got you sitting in here today.
That's probably true, yeah. We were pretty well recognized back in those days, so we did real well.
Well, I tell you what, it's good that they do recognize you still. It's great that they brought you in here and put you in the Motorsports Hall of Fame. Guys that get put in this are special people. It's just not just an also-ran. You had to do some stuff that got some attention, and I know you did. I actually raced for Gene Barker over your way a couple of times later on in life when I had an old funny car, and the check was good too. I liked it, so it was great.
Yeah. Well, we knew Gene real well, and we raced at some of the tracks that he managed.
Yeah, he's a nice fellow.
Yeah, we like Gene.
Yeah, we had fun. So you're excited about being here?
Yes, sir, certainly.
Can't
Proud
wait.
to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I tell you what, it is an honor. This is really a neat thing, and we're proud to have you on Event Radio. We're proud you'd take a few minutes. They're gonna take you upstairs, and they're gonna put you on a live radio show up there after we get done with you. But you get to go up there and talk to our buddy Billy Igler that was just on here before you, and he's going to talk to you and tell you all about all the cool stuff that's going to go on. So, but thank you for taking a few minutes and joining us.
Well, I certainly appreciate it.
Well, we look forward to seeing your induction ceremony and you and Army Armstrong and the guys getting up there doing your thing. Now, if he asked you to sing, are you going to do it?
Knowing Army, no telling what he may ask.
Yeah, he will ask you.
Yeah.
He always kids me that we used to be in the Chumpendales dancers, not the Chippendales, but the Chumpendales.
Chumpendale.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chumpendales. That's where we were.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you for being on Event Radio. It has been our pleasure. It has been our honor to have you on here, and we think it's cool that you are now a member of the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Guys, you're on Event Radio. We are having a big time. We're meeting all the celebrities, the guys that all of this is for.
The heavy hitters.
The heavy hitters. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, we are back from the Museum of Science and History. One of my favorite displays that's in here comes from a gentleman that I have admired and watched for years. He is the absolute best funny car racer, and I'm excluding myself from Kentucky, a gentleman that's been at this forever. He has won more stuff than the law allows and has had the coolest race cars that there are, starting from US 60 in Hardinsburg, Kentucky, all the way down, and he is here to join us. And trust me, no nicer guy on the planet than Mr. Randy Walls. How are you, sir?
Well, after that, I better not answer.
Well, there's not that many that listen, buddy.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay. Well, about 150,000. It's not too much.
Thank you. I'm doing great.
Well, good. and you didn't have the hot rod in here. Now you got it in here.
Right.
And, man, that's cool.
Thank
That
you.
is cool.
Yeah, we moved in last Saturday.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's great. Are you still running it a lot?
Well, I have 2 cars.
Yeah.
And the plans are to be match racing next year against Bruce Larson and a couple of those guys. And we're trying to get a real nostalgia match racing circuit going. So.
It was I told a little story on this, on Bruce, and this is really funny. Back in the 60s, I went to the U.S. Nationals with an A-Sport Corvette, and I was the record holder back then. First person that I heard on the radio was a guy named Bruce Larson that went with an AC Cobra, and he knocked me out by about a half a second, and I drew him first round, and he just beat me to death. And then when he was the Grand Marshal at Hot Rod Reunion, I had him on the radio, and we're talking, and I said, "You remember this fat guy?" And da-da-da-da-da. And he said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, it was a gray Corvette." He said, "Oh, yeah, I remember." I said, "I'm that guy." But we became good friends, and he's a nice guy.
He's a really nice guy, yes.
He's a very nice, and no nicer than you. You're a good guy.
Well, thank you.
Funny car hadn't beat it out of you yet.
Nope.
What in the world got you to want to run a funny car, my friend?
It was necessity, basically.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that.
I was in the Air Force, and believe it or not, when I got out, I couldn't get a job. They said I was overtrained.
Imagine that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
In 1960, I was trained in digital computers. And so when I got out, there was no need for me, no use for me.
Uh-huh.
So I was collecting unemployment for a while at $25 a week and working on cars and stuff. And so I saw this possibility coming up of a class. And so I was one of the first ones that built a funny car.
Yeah, I know.
And,
I remember.
And built it in my garage. And
Chevy too, wasn't it?
No money, yep. I called it my taxi cab.
Yeah, it was a Chevy too. The best of my memory. I'm old, but I'm not. Yeah. I actually had a little stint of driving one of them back then. I drove one of the old altered wheelbase Kentucky Colonel car. I drove it for a while.
Right.
Glutton for punishment, buddy. I've never been so scared in my life, but it scared me. But that was okay.
You know what was funny is my car, as ill-handling as it was, I guess it fit my personality, and I could drive that darn thing sideways and never let off the throttle, really. So I did things I don't even believe I did.
Well, back in that era, you did things that, number one, there were no good racetracks either, Randy.
Right.
I mean, running on gravel would have been an improvement on some of them.
Yeah, you're right.
And they were short. You couldn't stop it. And it was, I remember running some track somewhere down in Alabama that the farmer, they didn't own anything past the end of the pavement. And he sat there with a shotgun. And if you run off the end, you had to pay him to get your car back. No, listen, there is some stuff back then that
he was probably running moonshine too.
He probably was. Maybe we should have traded. Do you think?
Yeah.
So, what about the Hall of Fame? Tell us about it.
I love it. Really a great venue, and being in a museum here is really great. So it's giving good exposure and actually helping them too. So and being in a museum myself is just phenomenal. Don't even believe it. So.
Well, you should believe it because you. My friend, you are a superstar whether you want to be or not. I don't care. You can be modest. You can be anything you want. But you have wowed a bunch of people in your life, my friend. Me, for one.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I've been a fan longer than I've known you, and I've known you quite a while. This is our second time to be on the radio together.
Right.
And really, I mean, it's cool. No, it's just cool.
You know, in 2012, 2013, I went to New Zealand to race.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the first drag racer to be in New Zealand, American, since 1977.
Really?
And they pursued me for 3 years to get me to. I said, "You sure you want me?" And I said, "I think you ought to have a vote among your spectators and racers and stuff and see." And I won like 80% of the votes.
Well, sure, you should.
And I finally figured out it's basically my stand not against NHRA, but against their policies.
Well, they make it,
of high-dollar racing, because I love to have fun.
Oh, listen, and you did it when it was fun, my friend. That's when these new guys don't understand. If you don't use a tractor trailer and a 30-person crew and stuff like that, it didn't go on like that back then. You actually had to work a little bit.
Right.
And I kid. I said, drag racers now are not real racers. They're TV stars that drive race cars.
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you feel that way, but that's sort of the way I do.
And some of them shouldn't even be driving, too. So.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
We got plenty of those.
What's the hairiest experience you remember?
You
got to have one. You got to have one. Yeah, sitting with me.
Actually, not even racing.
Okay.
And I look back on it now, and I think it's pretty funny, and it scared the living crap out of my crew. But we raced all over the country, and we raced St. Louis, Missouri. One weekend we were supposed to race Pat Foster. The next weekend in Byron, Illinois.
I knew Pat.
Well, that weekend, and I was in St. Louis. He's got in an accident and killed that guy in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have anybody to race next year. And this booking agent called me and asked me if there's any possibility. He said, I need a car bad in Miami. And I remember telling him, well, it can't be over about 900 miles down there. I'll take it. So I went down there and match raced Pete Gates, a gate job.
Okay, I don't remember him.
Well, he was one of the group of Dino Don Nicholson and
okay.
Sharpman and all those factory sponsored cars. But anyway, we go down there and it turns out to be 1,500 miles. and then the next weekend I had to be in Martin, Michigan, 1,500 miles back. That was a big Popular Hot Rod Magazine meet.
Oh, yeah.
And I almost won that darn thing. I broke my transmission, or I would have. I was running faster in Chi-Town Hustler than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, on the way up, we were going up Interstate 75. Was that in Alabama, I guess? Doing about 75 miles an hour, and I'm always in the right lane. This time I was in the left lane. You always have cars pulling up beside of you and saying, hey, cool car, beeping the horn and saying, cool car, or thumbs up.
Yeah, sure.
Well, the horn blows beside of us. I look over, and there's this guy that's bigger than you, two big black guys, and I'm not prejudiced at all, two big black guys, and he's driving with his left hand, and he's got a 357 Magnum laying on his arm, pointed at us. And he says, pull it over, buddy. I didn't even think about it. I just jerked the steering wheel to the right. They went off through the bushes, the ditch, and they found this oak tree that was about 2 foot in diameter at 75 miles an hour.
That broke your heart, didn't it?
Brand new GTO.
Oh, me.
Brand new.
That's all right.
I remember two-tone green. I said, I don't think this car is restorable. Yeah. No, I didn't stop to see if there was any survivors. But
well, we won't tell them, guys, in case that they're listening. We won't tell them that he's at the Museum of Science and History. Another superstar, two of them coming in, Mr. Dale Funk, and, of course, the mayor of Hardinsburg, Mr. Boney Robertson, the mayor of Hardinsburg. But there's a lot of people that come in here. You know these guys, right?
You're right.
Do you admit it?
Sometimes. Depends on the company.
Okay, good. Well, you just did to a lot of people, Randy.
Oh.
You just did.
Oh, no, this isn't live, is it?
Yeah, well, it's pretty close. Anyway, no, it's not live. But we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to be on Event Radio. Your career is unmatched by anybody. Guys, trust me, this gentleman knows more about a funny car than John Force or any of those boys will ever know, because he did it from the beginning. He did it when they were didn't know what to call them. And they called them funny cars because they were funny looking.
Exactly.
And it wasn't what they are today. And he has withstood the test of time. If you ever see him booked at a racetrack on a match race or wherever, go see him, stop and talk to him. He's a great guy, a nice fella, and one show-enough bad funny car racer. Randy, thank you for being on Event Radio, my friend.
Thank you. I really appreciate it myself.
Hey, we're having just too much fun.
Thank you,
guys.
Randy.
We're at the Museum of Science and History, Owensboro, Kentucky, at the 2016 Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame inductions. You're on Event Radio. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back from the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame inductions 2016, and we have one of the inductees here and one of the past inductees here. And the past inductee, if you've ever been to a cool car show in the state of Kentucky, this gentleman put it on. There's no doubt about it. He is the cat daddy, I guess you would say, of every good car show that I've ever been to, especially everyone at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. Mr. Carl Casper, and the builder of 1 million cool cars, and he's joined by Mr. Pat Keating. I'll get it right. You're this year's inductee, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you excited about that?
Very much so.
It's a pretty doggone good honor, isn't it?
It's a big honor.
It really is. A lot of people don't realize just how important this is, and it's you got to figure, as many guys that have done what we have all done, and to be recognized for what you've done, you've gotten somebody's attention. You see what I mean, or you wouldn't be here.
Definitely. I mean, you go all your life and you hope for things like this.
Well, from what I understand, you've built several cars that have been in his shows.
Yes, I have.
He started out in 1964 with the Bushwhacker, right? That 54?
Yes, 67. 67.
Was it 67? Okay, but anyway, Pat's been built cars every year for our show for different people as well as himself. But it's been such an honor to have him and all the inductees that have been here that have shown pretty much in our show every year. And myself, I am so grateful to the committee, the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame Committee, the City of Owensboro, and, of course, this museum, which is also fabulous. And I'm just so proud of them for what they have done by creating this Hall of Fame. It's
a lot of cool stuff in here. You can
my goodness.
You can go back in time and have a pretty good little memorabilia visit,
Absolutely. I mean, I just going around here looking at all the cars, the trophies, the awards. It brings back so many memories over the past 50, 55 years. It's wonderful.
How long, Mr. Casper, how long did you do that, or have you done that show?
Well,
it's
this
still
is
going
our
on.
55th annual.
Yeah.
And I'm 45 years old. So
boy, you did good, buddy. I tell you what, when you can promote it from the womb, buddy, you're a pretty doggone bad boy. There's no doubt about it. You're a bad boy. Actually, believe it or not, I had the honor of winning a division in your show one time. Back a long time ago.
Well,
I had a 23T Roadster that was called the Playmate. It was a supercharged small block Roadster.
Wow.
Had a all Playboy magazine set up with a rabbit and the whole 9 yards, and we won 2 different things. I don't remember exactly what it was. We won that one, and then the ISCA stuff went on to Atlanta and won that one.
Wow.
2 back-to-back, and the guy just laid down so many $100 bills I couldn't stand it. And he wound up buying it, so my car show career ended, and I started drag racing. So, but it was pretty cool. It was fun.
Absolutely. You went from one bad habit to another.
Well, I went to one that was costing a lot of money to one that just broke me. How about that? Is that a fair statement?
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Okay. But out of all the shows and the cars you built, sir, what is your favorite? Your favorite. You did it, so.
Well, I'd probably have to blow my own whistle, so I'm not going to do that.
Why not?
Oh, no, you're 48 without a doubt.
I built a 48 Chevy here about 10 years ago that I outdid myself.
Okay, all right. It's one that made you proud, in other words.
Yeah, definitely. I started out, I wanted to build a magazine cover car.
Uh-huh.
And I did.
Well, there you go. It's always nice to have a goal and fulfill it.
It went well.
That 48 was a masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah.
He outdid himself.
But now the cars anymore, the detail is getting unreal. It's almost as bad as probably not as bad as drag racing.
Well, you now have to be a computer genius on both, just about. I mean, forget the deal of putting a small block Chevy where a Ford V4 is supposed to go. You got to be a computer genius now to hook up all the stuff that they do, and even to make them work.
Yeah.
Even talking about drag racing, I mean, now when I raced from 69 through 73, we had a 3-man crew.
Uh-huh.
That was it. Now they got like
30.
20 guys, 30 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, a clutch guy, a bottom end guy, a supercharger guy. We had to wear every hat that there was on every part of it. And you had to
drive it to the track. You had to do all that.
Yeah.
You had to figure out where to get the money to do it.
Yep.
You had to do it all. And
really, you could get out of it halfway reasonable. Today, it's $1 million deal to just be. I mean, I'm speaking top fuel, but in top fuel
still,
outrageous.
I mean, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly.
That's right.
There's no sense going. If you can't play, well, you might as well play at the beginning of the playground.
This is one man that has done.
I know he has
it all.
Oh, I know he has.
Drag racing,
and I've been a fan for a lot of it. I actually look much younger than I really am. That's what my girlfriend tells me. She tells me I do. Of course, she can't see. She can't see a lick.
Well, you ended up with a Playboy when you had that Playmate car.
I did. Believe it or not, I did have a genuine Playmate there.
Right.
With the car, and I think that's what enabled us to win. It was one of the more popular ones.
I remember being around it.
Well, yeah, she was right pretty.
I don't know how much time I spent looking at the car.
Not many people even knew the car was there, but it was really cool. And the display, of course, had the the real bunny that the ears moved and holding a glass of wine. And
wow.
and it was really cool. You probably don't remember because you've seen a blue million of them, but we had a lot of fun with that thing. And we actually drove it. Well, we spun the tires on it and stuff, too. Supercharged small block. We had big time with it.
Absolutely. That's the real fun.
No, it was, really. I envy you, sir, to have the talent that you have to go from a vision to reality. And you can do that. And not many people can say they can do that.
I have really been fortunate, blessed, whatever you want to call it, and I don't know where it came from.
Well, do you have to? Do you have to know where it came from?
No. Well, now my dad was an artist and a sign painter, so I get part of the artistic part from there. But the metal work, I don't know where it came from, but it's worked out well for me.
Well, he did. What Pat? He's a very humble guy, but trust me, he is. When it comes to metal work, he's a master. He's a master at it. Oh, yeah. And he did spend quite a bit of time at Ford as a dingman, taking the little dents out. And he learned how to shape metal without, he can take dents out of a car without even cracking the paint.
I'm good at putting them in there. We ought to be a team. We could be a team. I could tear them up and you could fix them. Right, we could do something there. We just figure out how we could get paid for it. Boy, we'd be all right, wouldn't we?
30 years of taking little dents out led to pretty good deal on the big dents.
Well, I tell you what, sir, you've made a lot of people happy getting the big dents out, and you've made both of you together. It's amazing the amount of people that you've entertained in your own way that you don't even think about. You providing what they look at, and Mr. Casper providing a place for them to look at it. And that's a big deal, guys. It's really a big deal. I know that there was money involved. I know that you didn't do it for your health. I know all that kind of stuff. But you got to think about the people that you made happy getting to go and see that would have never been able to do that. They can see it in a magazine, but they can come to the Carl Casper show and they see the real deal. They see the cars that they've seen in magazines. And that's important.
True. That's very true.
Or it was for me as a kid growing up. I mean, it was a big deal.
And the thing is, Louisville became, out of the 40 shows I was producing back in the early days, that's from Los Angeles to New York and from Miami up to Montreal. Louisville became my absolute favorite city, favorite show, and that's why we set up one of our shops.
Wasn't it one of the most well-known ones?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the California boys were talking about Louisville, Kentucky, and then we spent 7 years doing the mini Nats for NSRA, and then finally got them to bring the Nationals here. So if you really look at Louisville, Kentucky, and the state of Kentucky, this is now the center of hot rodding, custom cars, and
of course it is. Of course.
And
Bowling Green's turned into the event capital of the country.
Absolutely.
And I think that because of your shows, that is the true reason that the Street Rod Nationals are there. If you want to get down to it, they saw that you could draw the people. They saw that the interest was there. They saw that they would travel to there to see your show. And it was the logical place to put the Street Rod Nationals, and that's why they're there.
We worked with them for 7 years on the mini Nats, and then we got them to bring the Nationals here for 1 year. And when they came, they saw the people, the quality of the cars, the entries, everything together. They said, we're here to stay. So it again, and it should be that way, because as far as I'm concerned, and believe me, we're doing 40 shows a year across the entire nation. I didn't land in Louisville because of any other reason than it is the centerpiece. It's the best place, the location, the people, the facility. It all works together. It's a beautiful state. It's the perfect place to be.
Well, guys, let me tell you something. For an old fat guy that grew up loving cars as a kid and still does that he's an old guy, I want to personally thank you. I want to thank you for making the cool cars that you made. And for I know you're both a team.
We're a little old here too.
Well, you're like Army says. He said he wasn't a Chippendale dancer; he was a Chumpendale dancer. So you got to go by what he says. But I want to thank both of you guys. You gave T and I, as young people, inspiration to fall into the car hobby and like it. Fall into the car hobby really and fall in love with it. And we could have gotten in a lot of trouble a lot of other ways. And the cars. If you've got a hot rod drag race car, or a show car, you don't have any money to do anything else. So you can't
time.
And you can't get into trouble that a lot of kids get into. So you guys have done a service as well as been a mentor to a lot of people and not even known it. And that's a cool thing. That's a good thing. And that alone should have you both in the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame, which now you both will be because Mr. Casper already is. Right. You know,
I just hope the young people keep it up.
They will
get more involved in it.
See, all you got to do is design one of them big mufflers because that's what they think.
Well, I mean, you know, it's different than them when we were there.
It really is.
They're still interested in cars.
You know, we were amazed. We just 2 weeks ago did the Import Alliance show, and it was amazing. The young people, there wasn't a soul there over 30 years old. Not a soul. I mean, we're the old guys. And some of the most beautiful girls you've ever seen in your life in those booths and stuff. But there were Slam Mercedes, Slam BMWs, Audis, and of course Hondas, and all the things that they do to them. They're just merely doing what we did years ago to 55, 6, and 7 Chevys. They're just doing it with what they have to work with. Right. So the car hobby is still alive and well. It's just shifted to something else.
Oh, yeah, and the SEMA show they just had in Vegas that just wrapped up this weekend. I mean, the response, the manufacturers worldwide. I mean, it's Americana, and Americana's never going to die.
And cars are never going to die. And guys, thanks to you guys for being the father of it, if you will. And I know that's making you old, and it's not. I don't mean it that way.
Well, you didn't say grandfather.
No, well, I said that about Honest Charlie. But when I did Honest Charlie show down there, I said that about him. But really, you guys have brought a lot of pleasure to a lot of people, and that's a good thing. I mean, nobody knows really why you're put on this earth, and we're all put here for a reason, for some reason. And you guys found your niche, and you found how to make people glad that you've been put on this earth, and that's a cool thing, and made money in the same time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's part of it. That's part of my big problem is I'm not a businessman.
Well, I'm good at spending it.
Sometimes I try too hard and spend too much time on something
that you shouldn't have.
That have going went overboard on. Well, I'm losing money on it, but I don't care.
Well,
Pat being a perfectionist, what he's referring to is,
I want to do
as a perfectionist, he may give you a bid on something, a quote, and then he finds out that he underbid, but he'll stay with it because being a perfectionist, and he's the type of guy, his word is his bond.
That's nothing wrong with that, sir.
And old school. So
that's the way
what makes him the special person he is.
Our country would be a lot better if there were a lot more like you, my friend. They really would. Look, we got to cut you loose because they're going to want you upstairs. But
it's a big year for Pat, and we want to thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Hey, thank you for being on Event Radio. It has been our honor and our pleasure to introduce you to the world. This little thing gets it's probably 150,000 listen to it or so. And it goes all over the world. So now you've got a bunch more new friends, and he's going to go to Afghanistan or somewhere and have another show. You never know.
Well, thank you again so much. It's been a pleasure.
Everybody out there that's listening.
Guys, listen. Two of the absolute best, and you've met them live on Event Radio. We are at the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame 2016 inductions. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, welcome back from the Museum of Science and History, Owensboro, Kentucky. This is absolutely a cool place to be. Today is the induction ceremony of the class of 2016. It is my pleasure to introduce you to a gentleman that has been on Event Radio a couple of times before, that I always thought was already a member of the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame.
He should have been.
He should have been a member since the first day. He has what this gentleman has not done with a race car has not been worth doing. He is a super good guy. He is an ambassador for this museum, done what we think should be done all the time. A member of this should be available every so often to give a guided tour and tell the people about it. And our guest has done that. He's done that with his own time. And trust me, there is no better guy on the grounds than Mr. Cooper Hayden. First of all, congratulations, buddy. You should have been here a long time ago.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We was
Spivey
talking.
and T-Guy is here with us. And,
We was talking about that
I'm
on the way
pleased.
down, Cooper. You should have done been in, buddy.
We did. We talked about that in the truck on the way here. And we don't understand why you weren't. I guess because being an Owensboro resident, they already had your stuff in the speed seal.
Yes.
And I guess that's why T and I just took it for granted that you were already in it.
No, I visited with you in 2012 when we were in Bowling Green.
Oh, yeah.
And
We had
talked
fun, didn't
a
we?
little while. That's a long time ago.
Well, a lot of words. We've talked a little bit since then, not a whole lot,
couple
but
of
a little.
races. And,
Yeah, we've been here twice.
Yes. Right.
And actually, T and I talked. This is the, Terry, fifth?
Fifth year.
This is the
if I'm not
fifth
mistaken.
induction ceremony that we've covered.
Fourth or fifth?
Fourth or fifth, I don't know. But this one probably to me is going to be one of the most important because people like my buddy Cooper that we've been friends for, forever, almost as long as Army Armstrong and I have been friends.
Yeah.
And of course, Cooper is an old fuel guy. He's an old funny car guy. And Randy Walls, and some of the guys that are here are near and dear to my heart, more so than some. And not to say that I don't like all racers, because I do. But if you've been there and you've done that, you get a special bond. And I think you'll agree to that.
I do very much. It's we have so much in common that we think alike.
We're probably dumb alike. That's what it is. We're stupid alike,
Until your pocket runs empty.
Well, that's easy.
And then you got to watch for a while.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. At least you know what you want. This is going to get me in trouble. And you'll laugh that this is going to get me in trouble. And you may not laugh, but I laugh about it. I get a lot of guys that are huge Pro Stock fans. And they get on me a lot about the old funny cars not being race cars and, not being like the Pro Stockers. And they said, well, what do you think? I said, well, the main reason they race those. And he said, no, why? I said, it gives you time enough to go to the bathroom before they run the real cars. And so
that went over real well.
Yeah, they didn't really like that much, but that's okay.
That's all right. They to each his own, and
Well,
that's what makes it all happen. Is all of us has the different commitments and the things that hit our buttons. The fuel motors are what light your fire.
Well,
Some of us.
Trust me, buddy. Once you touch the throttle, that's a religious experience. It's something's gonna happen. Now, it's either going to make a good pass, it's going to blow up in your face. A guy told me, he said, "What's it like to run a funny car?" And Cooper, I know you know the answer to this. He asked me, he said, "What's it like?" I said, "It's real simple." I said, "You've got to want to ride a Roman candle that will blow up under you at any minute, and you got to hate money. If you can do those two things, there's a funny car in your future."
Yeah.
Am I close?
Oh yeah, it's very accurate. They love money.
Boy, they do. What's your favorite? You've done both. You've done the top fuel car and the funny car. What's Cooper Hayden's favorite?
Well, I think the funny car because you're on station longer, and then in my days we had long burnouts, and then we could do the dry hops before we staged the car. And the fuel dragster, you just lined up and stuck your foot in it
and went for a ride.
But the funny car was more funny and more fun. Not necessarily funny.
I got to ask you something. I was honored a week ago to go do the eulogy at Barry Mills' funeral. Of course, Barry was a funny car guy.
Right.
And it was very hard for me to do. I learned a story about Barry that I didn't know, and you've been here, so you can understand this. He ran a match race one time in front of Gartlett's and Muldowney, and he was the car to run before them. He wanted to be a showman and do a good deal, so, one smoky burnout like you wouldn't believe. The car got so much smoke in it that he couldn't breathe, and he passed out. He passed out on the racetrack. Have you ever had the problem of doing anything like that, or did you just do it?
Well, in my day, we didn't have the roof hatch, and we had open windows on the side.
Okay.
When you got to the end of the track, you just unbuckled and rolled out of the side window and stood beside your car till your tow truck got there. it's a lot more safe today.
Yeah, well, his was sealed up pretty good, but they said that actually he couldn't hold his breath any longer, and said he just hyperventilated and went out. And
wow.
and
I never had that.
Well, he passed out on the racetrack, and I asked the guy that was telling me the story, and he said, Barry said, told the Garlets, he said, well, follow that, old man, but always a showman, and you have to be a showman to have a funny car, buddy.
Well, they are. That was in my day all you could get booked to get the match races and earn a little money.
Well,
because in the East, I spent 3 years up there in 65, 6, and 7, and 8, so 4 years. We could run Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon at 4 different tracks.
Yeah,
8-car fuel shows.
Big money.
And made good money. I remember in 68 I won $22,800 and still spent $8,500 out of my pocket. So that was a $30,000 a year just.
And $30,000 then, it was like $3 million now, just about.
That's where the name High Roller comes from. That's a Texas euphemism that's a guy that lives like he's a millionaire with a dime in his pocket.
Well, we all know what that's like, buddy.
And that was us.
Well, that's all right. The thing about it, you got to live that way.
Yeah.
See, getting to live that way is more important than wondering what it was like. I tell people all the time, there are 2 sayings that I try to live my life by. I want to always say, I'm glad I did, instead of I wish I had.
Right.
Now, if you can check out of this world without saying I wish I had, you've had a pretty successful life.
I've been blessed.
We all have, my friend.
It. Blessed in the racing industry and blessed in the family end of it.
Yeah,
so
you have.
I got wonderful kids and a lot to be grateful for.
Well, and there are a lot of them that are very proud of your old dad here today.
I appreciate it.
And we're proud to be your friend here. Not only you being on the show with us for the 3rd time or whatever it is, but it's more important to us to be your friend. That we know that your induction, you've earned it. You've earned every minute of being in this. You should be at the top of the Hall of Fame because you've done everything that's required to be in one. And you've done it with class. You've done it with style. You've done it the way it should be done. Don't you think so, T-Bone?
I think so. I mean, like we was talking earlier, I think you should have been in it, Cooper.
Well,
thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Well, no, we're serious, and I know that Billy Igler's going to be smanking us because he wants on his show upstairs, and we're doing part of it down here, and he's doing part of it up there, and we're trying to learn what we're doing, and he already knows what he's doing. But we try, and we got a little audience, it's not too
absolutely.
bad. It's now average show is way over 100,000, every one of them. So
it's wonderful.
Blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while.
Yes,
I guess
indeed.
They say if you keep on.
I'm privileged to be here.
Well, no, buddy, listen, we're privileged.
It's our privilege.
We're privileged. You would take a few minutes to be with us.
Thank you.
Should have been here long ago, guys. One of the 2016, the class of 2016, our good friend and no better racer on this planet than Mr. Cooper Hayden. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Spivey, and thank you, T.
Thank you, Cooper.
Guys, we're having just too much fun on Event Radio. We're meeting all kinds of cool people and a few that aren't so cool, but that's okay. We hadn't had them on here yet, but we might. But don't go anywhere. You're on Event Radio. We'll be right back. Well, guys, that's about it for the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame. The red carpet treatment is over. That's what T and I do. And everybody sort of bypassed us now and moved upstairs to the real induction ceremonies done by Mr. Army Armstrong, Mr. Billy Igler that you met on our show earlier. That's where they go to get all of the awards, the plaques, everything that they're presented.
The recognition they deserve.
Pretty good show, wasn't it, T-Bone?
Very good show, I thought, Spiv. I mean, it's an honor to do this show, actually, with Pop getting inducted in 2011. Then last year we got to interview my old buddy Earl Hayden that got in.
Yeah.
And it's just super cool to come here. And Carl Casper today, what a rush.
The best of the best. Our buddy Mr. Alan Gaines walking by. There is no better truck puller in the world or has been than him. And so many people that we've become friends with through this Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame just by doing these shows. And we've got to meet people that, man, we would never meet anywhere.
Well, that we just read about, like Mr. Casper.
Yeah, like Carl Casper that did the shows and that kind of stuff. So we have a lot of fun, guys, and we appreciate you joining us when we do these things, and we appreciate all the listeners. Our numbers have staggered us. We are not even close to figuring out how that has happened, but we are thankful that it has, and we are thankful that you enjoy what we're trying to do. That's important to us, and it's sort of like we always say, if you like what you've heard, tell one or two, but if you don't like it, you keep that to yourself. We don't want you telling anybody that. As we always do, T-Bone, we got to thank the guys that make this possible and sort of give us enough money to get the old beater Suburban from one place to another. But the great guys at Holly Performance, gosh, how many lines do they have now?
If you got a car, they got something for it. If you got anything, they got something for it.
Yeah, if you can't get a part from your hot rod at Holly, my friend, you don't even have a hot rod. You don't even have a car you don't have a car. I guess. I don't know. They might even have spokes for bicycle wheels. You never know.
It probably anodized beautiful.
Yeah, probably. The guys that build the absolute best race carburetors on the planet, the guys at Quick Fuel Technologies, man, are they cool. They are wonderful.
Best.
They are the best there is, and those guys, if you call them up on the phone, talk to them, and ask them what you need, you can count on getting the right thing the very first time because they're on their game. They know what's going on.
Tell them you know Spivvy. They'll be sure to get you the right part.
They might charge them extra. Hopefully. No, they're good people. They're great people, and please try to do business with them if you can. The place to go all summer long that's more fun than the law allows, Beach Bend Park, Beach Bend Raceway, and Beach Bend Splash Lagoon. If you can't have fun out there, my friend, you're a prude, and you go to sleep in the movies like I do. But, trust me, the entertainment is absolutely awesome at Beach Bend. You've got all the events, the races. Next year, I believe there are 27 multi-day events that are going to go on at Beach Bend. And the newest, the Carcraft Nationals, will be at Beach Bend Raceway. And so
how cool is that going to be?
They keep on coming. I mean, everything that's cool goes on at Beach Bend, and we are proud to go right along with them. Our buddy, Mr. Jimmy B. at Gearhead Gazette, the absolutely coolest car guy newspaper on the internet. I don't care where you go.
Bar none.
Bar none. If you see the little black 32 Ford and a great big guy in it just grinning and smiling,
say, hey, Jimmy B.
Say, hey, Jimmy B, that be me. And we actually had dinner with him at one of the events, and we had more fun, and he was just so nice and so hospitable. And he is our sponsor, and trust me, guys, every good event that you find anywhere in the country, you can go to GearheadGazette.com and find out all about it and make sure to get your calendar and mark it down. T-Bone, I think we need to should we go to Moonlight Barbecue?
That sounds good
to me.
Boy,
Moonlight's a staple over here. There might be somewhere else. I don't know. We'll have to ask and see. But we appreciate everybody that joined us for this show. We try to make it good. We try to make it informative, and we try to make it fun for you. And we for sure introduce you to the best people there are.
We definitely make it real.
That's right, on Event Radio. Guys, thank you for joining us, and we will talk again.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.